أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ليس البر أن تولوا وجوهكم قبل المشرق والمغرب ولكن البر من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر والملائكة والكتاب والنبيين وآتى المال على حبه ذوي القربى واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل والسائلين وفي الرقاب وأقام الصلاة وآتى الزكاة والموفون بعهدهم إذا عاهدوا والصابرين في البأساء والضراء وحين البأس أولئك الذين صدقوا وأولئك هم المتقون صدق अल्लाह अज़ीम। ये वो सदक अल्लाह अज़ीम नहीं जो कुरान खत्म हो भी करते हैं, ये आयत खत्म हुई इसलिए सदक अल्लाह अज़ीम। पांडव भी वो पठान की तरह टैक्सी में बैठ गए अरब को, जहां पहुंचा वो पता नहीं इसको क्या कहें कि मेरा स्टेशन आ गया, मुझे यहाँ रुकना है। शेख 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 वो क्या कहे, शेख शेख सदक अल्लाह अज़ीम। वो समझ गया कि इसका स्टॉप आ गया, तो उसने खड़ी कर दी, स्टॉप कर दिया। We did tafseer of this ayat in the last verse. لَيْسَ الْبِرَّ أَن تُوَلُّوا وُجُوهَكُمْ. We mentioned the shan in nuzul, that people sometimes take pride in petty things, small things. You know, we are blessed, we face in this direction, this is our direction, this is our way of doing things. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, facing this direction, that direction is not something virtuous. Main virtue is this: obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ليس البر أن تولوا وجوهكم قبل المشرق والمغرب ولكن البر من آمن. Muzaf is mahzoof before it. ولكن البر بر من آمن. Like Nasafi says in the other place, Allah said, أجعلتم سقاية الحاج وعمارة المسجد الحرام كمن آمن. يعني كإيمان من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر. And the word birrun is ismun jami'un li anwa'i ta'at wa a'malil khayr. A word which includes various types of ta'at and a'malul khayr, good deeds. From the word birrun comes birrul walidain, which means khidmat of parents, being dutiful to parents. Birrul yameen, which means fulfilling your qassam and oath, and doing what qassam you took, that Allah ne qassam, I will do this, you do it, that is birrul yameen, qassam. And then birrul kalam, meaning when you speak, you say the right words, good words, meaning truth, truthfulness. So barra fi kalamihi yani sadaqa. He did good and he did khair in his kalam, he spoke the truth. Then we have the word birrul yatama, being nice to the orphans, looking after them, taking care of them. And when you have all these types of birr, then you become from among the abrar. And Allah said, Innal abrara lafi na'im wa innal fujjara lafi jahim. When you do everything right, then you are a bar, with fatha, a pious person, good person, and good people will be in na'im, in bliss, in ni'mats of Jannah. So, laysal birra, good virtue, is not facing this direction, that direction. Virtue is, if you have these things, first you have proper iman in Allah. And the Yahud and Nasara, who claim that we have the best jihad and best qibla and best direction, and we are the best nation, we are the most beloved of Allah, they did not have proper iman in Allah. Among the Yahud, they claimed Uzair is the son of Allah. Nasara claimed Masih ibn Allah. And there was lots of blasphemy against Allah. Allah is weak. Allah can't do this. Allah can't do that. Why is Allah like this? Why is Allah not doing this? These types of objections. Their iman on Allah was not proper. So you believe in Allah properly. And wal yawmil akhir, believe in life after death properly as your prophet has taught you. Musa alayhi salam, Isa alayhi salam, Dawood alayhi salam, that life after death, there is Jannat and Jahannam. And Jannat is for the obedient and Jahannam is for the disobedient. If you don't believe in this manner in which they have explained, then your iman in life after death is not proper. Yahud used to say Jannat is ours. We won't go to Jahannam except for 40 days. Then you will replace us and you'll stay there forever and we'll go to Jannat. It's only those 40 days in which we worship that calf when Musa alayhi salam went on Mount Tur. So we'll only go in Jahannam for 40 days, then we will come out and Muhammad's Ummah will go in there and remain in there forever. Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, once you go in there, then stay there forever. Don't come out. We don't want to go in there. So these were their concocted beliefs. Bigre hui aqaid regarding iman on akhirat, life after death. And wal malaika, proper iman on the angels. Nasara believe that angels are only the pious souls which leave this dunya, they become guardian angels. And devils are the wretched souls which go from this dunya, become shaitan. So they believe that malaika and shayateen, jinn, there is no existence of them. It's only these souls who take up another form. The iman on malaika is not proper. You have to believe in malaika properly. You must have heard the word guardian angels. Oh, he's watching over me. Oh, she's looking at me. I can feel her. Meaning she died, but she's there. She's looking after me. She's keeping an eye on me. She's protecting me. He's protecting me. So they believe that these ruh which go out of this dunya and they are pious, they become angels. So iman in malaika and wal kitab and iman in the book. Iman in your book, Tawrat, Injil, Zabur, in this book, Quran. You don't believe in the book properly. You don't believe in your own book. You don't follow your own instructions. You mess the things up in your kitab. And one nabiyyin, believing in all prophets. Yahud said we believe in Musa but not in Isa. Nasara said we believe in Musa and Isa but not in Muhammad. But Muslims said we believe in all the prophets. From Adam alayhi salam till Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. This is why in the closing verses of Surah Baqarah we are taught, La nufarriqu bayna ahadim min rusulihi. We do not differentiate and distinguish and discriminate among any of his prophets. We believe in all prophets. We respect all prophets. This is number one, the 6 tenets of faith. And then, وَآتَ الْمَالَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ ذَوِي الْقُرْبَى. They give their money upon his muhabbat. Whose muhabbat? One tafsir of is ala hubbillah. When a person gives sadaqah, zakat, lillah, khairat, this is a sign that the person loves Allah more than his money. If he loved his money more than Allah, he wouldn't give it. But because he loves Allah more than his money, this is why he's giving it. It's a sign. This is why in the hadith of Muslim, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, as-sadaqatu burhan. Sadaqah is an evidence. It's a proof. Proof of what? Proof of your iman. That you believe in Allah. You love Allah. That's why you're giving your money for the sake of Allah. Nobody likes giving money out. I wouldn't give my money to any Tom, Dick and Harry on the road. But it's only because I love Allah and Allah told me to spend it. That's why I'm spending it. So ala hubbihi, yani wa'at al-mala ala hubbillahi. Number 2, second tafsir is that hubbihi, zamir, refers to al-mal. Yani ala hubbil mal. He gives the money in spite of its love. Because we naturally love money. Everybody loves it. Who doesn't love it? I like money. Everybody likes money. If you have money, then you can do lots of things. If you don't have money, you're depressed, you're down, you have to go, you have to ask, you have to beg. So everybody loves money. So in spite of the love of money, ala hubbihi ma'a hubbihi, though he loves money, but still he gives it. He ignores that love for his money and he gives it. In Surah Al-Dahr, Allah said, وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا. They feed their food in spite of their love for the food to a yatim and miskin and a captive. So, ala hubbihi yani ala hubbil mal. Who do they give to? Zawil qurba. Zawil qurba, relatives. Now, first of all, giving money in charity, what is the best charity? Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam was asked, Ayyu sadaqati afzal? And he replied, Anta saddaqa wa anta sahihun shahihun takhsha al-faqra wa ta'mulu al-ghina wa la tumhil hatta idha balagat al-hulqum qulta li fulanin kaza wa li fulanin kaza wa qad kana li fulan. The best sadaqah is that you give charity whilst you are healthy. You are in need of that money. And you fear becoming poor if you give it away. And you hope to get rich if you keep it. But in spite of this, you say, no, you ignore all those feelings and you give it out. This is the best sadaqah. And you do not delay your spending until when your ruh reaches the throat, you're on your deathbed. Malakul Maut is here and your death is close by. And you say, give this too much to so and so, give this much to so and so, give this much sadaqah, give this much sadaqah here, give this much sadaqah there. And you can't do this now because that money has become a belonging property of so and so, meaning your heirs, your warisin. Because on the deathbed, your wasiyat cannot be carried out from your full money and wealth. It can only be carried out from 1/3. The 2/3 will become your heirs. So if a person had, let's say, for example, 10,000, and he said, give my 10,000 to this masjid or that madrasa or that poor man or so and so relative, you can't give it. You can only give 1/3 from there, 3,000. The 7,000 plus will be for the heirs, the inheritors. This is what Prophet ﷺ said. The best sadaqah is when you're healthy, strong, and you are in need of that, but still you give preference to others and you spend in the path of Allah. That is the best sadaqah. Number one. Number two, main important thing is where we spend that sadaqah. Allah starts off with Zawil Qurba. Zawil Qurba means close relatives. One hadith says in Tirmizi, giving alms to a poor person wins one reward of charity, whereas giving the same to a relative will earn double the reward because it will be charity as well as joining kinship and fostering of family ties. You give 10 pounds, 100 pounds to a poor person. That's sadaqah, rewarding. But in your family, there is someone who is poor and needy, and you give them, then over here, your reward will be multiplied. Why? Because you're not only giving sadaqah, you're also doing sila rahmi. You will get sawab of sadaqah and sawab of sila rahmi. Now, what type of charity? Remember, zakat cannot be given to your parents and grandparents, nor to your children and grandchildren, ascendants and descendants. And zakat cannot be given to your partner, wife or husband. Other than these, if other relatives are needy, like your brother, sister, khala, mamu, chacha, they are needy, mustahiq, they have nothing to survive on, you can give your zakat money to them. And nafil sadaqah, sadaqah wajiba can be given to them as well. And even fidya or sadaqah fitr or kafara can be given to them as well, because these are all sadaqat wajiba. They are for mustahiq. As for sadaqah nafila, you can give that to your parents if they are needy, your grandparents, your children. Whatever you spend on your children, on your wife, is a sadaqah. To the extent that if you put a morsel in your wife's mouth, उसको एक लुकमा खिलाएं, उसमें भी सदके का सवाब है. बेगम को लुकमा खिलाना, आज नहीं कल, आज तो आपने खाना खा लिया है, अनलेस घर जाके फ्रूट खाएं या कोई डिजर्ट विजर्ट खाएं जाकर, तो 2 चम्मच उसको भी खिला देना, उसके मुंह में डाल देना, सदके का सवाब मिलेगा. So spending on your wife, on your children is sadaqah. This is first and foremost Zawil Qurba. Sometimes we don't understand this point. We've heard of people who are wealthy, who have lots of properties in their possession, but one of their brothers is bichara, poor, miskeen. He's living in a rented property, struggling to pay the rent. But the wealthy brothers don't help their brother. They give sadaqah here and there in charities and, Syria and here and there. But your brother is more in need of your sadaqah. You've got so many houses. Why don't you give him one house? Bhai, you don't need to pay rent. Here, I'm giving you this key. Chabi lo. He got तुम्हारा number. ये क्या rent बढ़ते देने का? You help your brother. It's sadaqah, my friend. Sadaqah and sila rahmi. So, this is why Allah said, first of all, وَآتَ الْمَالَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ. Number 1, bolo, zawil qurba. Zawil qurba. And then, wal yatama. Then comes the number of yatim, orphans. There might be some orphans within our society. Who is an orphan? A minor whose father has passed away is classed an orphan. If the mother passed away, then he won't be a yatim. If the father passed away, then that's a yatim. And yatimi remains until bulugh. Once he becomes baligh and stands on his or her own feet, then the yatimi is finished. Grown-ups are not classed as yatim. So, the small children, young children, who are dependent on their father, the father has died, then that child is a yatim, and helping them to the extent that if you are poor, you can't help them, you just stroke their head with love and muhabbat and mercy and compassion, then every hair your hand covers, you will get 1 neki for that. अब मेरे सर पे तो बाल नहीं है, टाल है, लेकिन छोटे बच्चे के सर में बाल है. If you put your hand, thousands of hair will come under there. If you just stroke their hand with love and muhabbat and mercy and kindness, you get thawab for every hair your hand covers. That's in the hadith. And when you help the yatim and feel for them, it softens your heart. One person came and said, my heart is very hard and sakhat. Tell me something I can make my heart soft. And Huzur said, Imsah ra's al-yatim. Wipe your hand over the head of a yatim. Hazrat Aisha said, visit the sick people, follow the janazah, go to the graveyards. Your heart will become soft. So, yatim, helping yatim. If you can take care of a yatim, support them, pay their monthly expenses, help their mother out with the ikhrajat. She might be going through tough times, not enough benefit, and she can't go to work. 3-4 kids in the house, small kids. So she's struggling. You look after her, take care of her. Then Huzur Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Ana wa kafirul yatim fil jannati hakaza. Me, myself, and the one who takes care of an orphan, supports him, will be like this in Jannat. Meaning these 2 fingers are very close. There's no third finger in the middle. So he will be very close to me in Jannat. So this is وَآتَ الْمَالَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ ذَوِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْيَتَامَى. In fact, in one hadith, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, خير بيت في المسلمين بيت فيه يتيم يحسن إليه وشر بيت في المسلمين بيت فيه يتيم يساء إليه. The best house among the neighborhood of Muslims is that house in which there is a yatim and he is treated very nicely. That's the best house. On the other side, the worst house among the Muslim households is that household in which there is a yatim and he's being treated badly. So treat the yatims nicely. This is وَآتَ الْمَالَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ ذَوِي الْقُرْبَى. First your relatives and then وَالْيَتَامَى. And then وَالْمَسَاكِينَ. Third category is that of masakin. Miskin is that person who possesses absolutely nothing. And many of these masakin never express their need to anyone. They don't even tell anyone I am needy. They hide their needs. They are very patient. They patiently endure all the pain and the hunger and the thirst and whatever struggles they might be going through. So there is great reward in searching for such people in the society and secretly helping them. You don't need to tell them. Even if you were to give them zakat, you know they are mustahiq of zakat, and you just give it to them without telling them. Then zakat niyat should be in your heart, not on your tongue. You don't need to tell them. Make niyat and give it to them. You know he's mustahiq. He might feel offended if you tell him it's zakat because he's a buzurug, he's a pious person. So he doesn't take zakat money. But you want to give it to him, you don't have anything else to give. You can give it to him. You don't need to tell him it's zakat money. So helping the poor and masakin and the needy. Then there will be others who will come out to beg. Now there will be two types of beggars. Someone who's in real need and that's why he's begging. And you can check them out. You can give them. And there will be others who are habitual beggars, who have an attitude of begging, and you can understand them, realize them. They go out in month of Ramadan begging and they make millions. Once I was in India, the Dalmi, my Kharazad brother, he said that this beggar came over here. And we sat down with him because we're in Jamaat. So we sat down with him after Isha, we spoke to him. So he came to Dadal and he begged after Zohar in Dadal, and then he went to Jitali and begged over there after Asar Maghrib, and then he came back for Isha to Dadal, and then we called him over to sit down and eat with us. Then we asked him, but you have come here on a normal day, you won't make much. You should come in Ramzan because normally Ramzan people give more. So he said, no, ये छोटे छोटे गांव में रमजान में तो बॉम्बे जाने का क्यों कि बॉम्बे वहां तो एक महीने में कई लाख हो जाते हैं 20-25 लाख तो कहीं नहीं गए and he goes so much at home, he's loaded, but he makes that type of face and goes around begging. So these people, habitual beggars, we should not assist them in their habit of begging. You can refuse them in a polite way. जाओ खुदा हाफिज किसी और से ले लो मेरे पास मत आओ. So spend your money on the yatim and the miskin. This is why, Bukhari Sharif quotes a very nice hadith. ليس المسكين الذي ترده التمرة والتمرتان ولكن المسكين الذي لا يجد ما يغنيه ولا يسأل الناس ولا يتفطن له أو كما قال عليه السلام. Miskin is not a person who goes around people's homes and begs and he gets one morsel, two morsel, 1 penny, 2 penny, 1 pound, 2 pound. Miskin is he who is in need, but he doesn't ask people. And he doesn't make an impression that people can realize that he is in need. He just keeps himself mustaghni and he survives on whatever Allah has given him. Qanaat. That person is the true miskin. So, spending on miskin, in Suratul Balad, Allah said, "Oh miskinan za matraba." Spend on a miskin who is sitting on the floor with no carpet. He's on turab, he's on dust. So, number 3, wal yatama wal masakin. Fourth is wabna sabil. Ibn sabil means traveler, musafir. Because when you see a stranger coming into your village or your town, then you don't know his lineage, his nasab, his parents, he's unknown. He's walking on the road. So the Arabs used to call him Ibn Sabil, son of the road, because the road is his father and he is the son of the road. That's why I used to call him Ibn Sabil. So it means Musafir. Now, many times it happens that a person is traveling and he sometimes is short of funds, or sometimes he's robbed along the route by robbers, highway bandits, or he's lost his property, or he pickpocket, cut his pocket, took his money away. So many of these musafirs used to come to people's towns, villages. They go in the masjid, they pray namaz, ask Allah for help. So if you see some musafir of this type, then help him. And if a musafir, in those days there were no credit cards, no debit cards, nothing. Even if he was a millionaire at home, but on the journey he got robbed, he's got nothing, then he's mistake of zakat. You can give him zakat money as well. So Allah said, take care of the musafirs. This is why if someone comes to our masjid for chanda, he's a musafir, he's Ibn Sabil. So we should take him home, feed him, look after him, assist him in whatever way we can. And we have to respect these ulama kiram who sacrifice so much time of their Ramzan. They could have, stayed with their families, but they think about their madrasa. They travel around the world, bichara, and they whatever funds they can gather, they take for their madrasas. So they are ibna'u sabil, they are musafirin. So we should offer them as much help as we can. Wassa'ilin. And now comes the turn of the one who asks and begs. And I explained that the beggars are of two types. Those who are in real need, help them. Once Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha was sitting, and her shagirs and her students and her nephews were there. Someone came and asked for something. Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha told the khadim to give him some bread. So he gave him some bread and the person left. Then another person came and he asked for some help as well. Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha told him to sit down, and then she ordered some food, nice food, dastarkhan, fed him properly, really well. And then he left, thanked Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha. So the students asked, both were beggars, why was your treatment different? And she replied, the first person had the appearance of someone who has a habit of begging. So I helped him, I gave him something to eat and left. But the second person came, his appearance was not that of someone who goes around begging. He was wearing nice clothes, he was in a good appearance. It seemed that he only begged because he was in dire need. And he looked a good person, not under normal circumstances. And Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam has said to us, "Anzilun nasa manazilahum." Treat people according to their rankings. So the first person, I treated him the way which he deserved. The second person, I showed him more respect because he had a good appearance. Perhaps he came on a horse, so he was riding on a horse. So meaning that he was needy, that's why he was asking. So I treated him in that manner in which he deserved. So when people ask of you, we have to help them as much as we can. Hazrat Mufti Ashiq Ilahi Sahib Balan Shahri Rahmatullahi alayhi says over here that there is prohibition of adopting begging as a trade. Some people make begging their trade. Once I read in some newspaper that this person had a good job in London and he was making good money. Christmas came and his kids asked for some expensive gifts. Now he didn't have that much money. So he was passing by on the underground tube somewhere and he saw some beggars sitting there. So he thought, yeah, let me sit here as well. So he, put some black color on him or something on his face and taut clothes, and he sat down there and started guitar music and begging. And by evening, बहुत पैसा हो गया उसका तो. So he came back the next day and the next day. And within a few days, he collected so much that he was accorded nearly his monthly wages. So he gave up the job and he started begging. So I'm a professional beggar. Begging may be professional begging. So Hazrat is saying that this type of making it a trade and a business, that is haram. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Man sa'ala wa lahu ma yughnihi فإنما يسأل جمرا فليقل من ذلك أو ليكثر. رواه Muslim. Whoever asks people their wealth so that he may become rich, though he is not in need of it, then he is smoldering coals, so he can ask for more or he can ask for less. लोगों से मांगे हालांकि उसके पास जरूरत की बकदर है, तो वो लोगों से जहन्नम के अंगारे मांग रहा है. चाहो तो ज्यादा अंगारे लो, चाहे कम लो. Another रिवायत, मन साल वलहु मा युगनीहि जाअ यौमल क़ियामति वलैस फी वजहिही मुज़अतु लहमी. He has sufficient, but he saves his money and he goes asking others to increase his money. He'll come on the day of Qiyamah, there will be no flesh on his face. उसके चेहरे पे गोश नहीं होगा, क्योंकि उसने अपने चेहरे को दूसरे के सामने जलील किया. चेहरा तो बहुत शरीफ है, अल्लाह के सामने झुकना चाहिए, अल्लाह के सामने सजदे में जाना चाहिए. गैर के सामने उसने चेहरे को जलील किया, अल्लाह पाक क़यामत के दिन उसके चेहरे के गोश्त की बोटी उतार लेंगे, जलील होकर आएगा, बदशक्ल आएगा. I read this story somewhere that there was this old man. He used to go around begging in the village. Now, he had lots of money, but he used to hide it, bury it in his small hut, jhumpda, under his pillow where he used to sleep. Now, some youngsters found out that Buddha's got a lot of money. So one day when he went out begging, so they forced their way into the hut and they dug under his pillow and they found that large bag of gold coins and they took it out. They came to a restaurant and ordered some, hoteliers, some nice, beautiful, tasty food. And when food was ready, they waited for the chacha to come around. So when he came around, they said, "Chacha, aajao hamare saath khana kha lo." And I go, "Bhai, aaj kya khushi mein, kis khushi mein? Arey, kuch khushi nahi, aajao, khana kha lo. Come eat with us." And they put him on the main kursi, main center stage. And they used it there. Now he is suspicious. He has something fishy here. And he asked them, why are you making me this feast? Hazrat, ye aapki barakat hai. Every day, Hazrat, ye aapki barakat. This is your barakat. This is your barakat. This is your barakat. And suddenly it clicked to him. And he left the food. He run to his hut. And he saw that the area had been dug out and the gold coin bag was gone. And he had a shock of his life. He had a heart attack and he died. Now, the youngsters said that we didn't know that this is going to happen. The old man's going to die. Anyway, they took his body away. And the people in the Gaon village, they gave him ghusal, they gave him kafan. Now, these youth thought that there's still some money left in the bag. What should we do with it? So they said, "Shh, don't tell anyone, just bury it with him in his cover." So when they were burying him and they made the cover, one of the youths secretly put the bag with him. And they buried him, they left. Now, in our country, there are kafan chores who steal kafan. So one kafan chore got this, a hint from somewhere that over there's not only kafan, there's money as well. So at night, he secretly came rushing and he dug that grave. Now the graves over there, many times they are very shallow. So very quickly you can dig it up. So he dug it up, and he, as soon as he moved those bricks to see the body, what does he see? That there's not only body there, there's golden coins spread over the body, and they're all shining, the gold coins. So he thought, oh, he to spread it. But when he touched them, oh, they were really, really hot, and his hand burned, and he screamed and fainted. When people heard his scream and they came, he was fainted. They took him away. They, closed the grave. And when he came back to his senses, and they saw that his hand was burnt, and they asked him what happened, and he told them that this is what happened. I was told that there's money here. But I saw. So when people came, that scene had gone. That scene had gone from their eyes. He was like, normal body is there. But Allah showed that kafan chore that, look, this is what happened when you steal from people and when you needlessly hoard money. Allah showed them that the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, if you beg, when you have enough, then you are begging for the coal and kolsa of Jahannam. These are the coal and the fire of Jahannam, which Allah showed. So we should give up this habit of begging when we already have something. Sometimes ladies have a bad habit. They have things in their homes, but they ask from their neighbors. જરા સુગર મોકલજો ને, પેલું આડું ખતમ થઈ ગયું, જરા આડું મોકલજો ને. એટલે ફ્રીજ ભરેલું છે, આડું થઈને બાજુમાં શું કામ મંગાવે? So if you have enough, you shouldn't ask and beg from your neighbors, right? अब तो सोसाइटीज कुछ बहुत डिफरेंट हो गई है, वरना पहले तो एक दूसरे को बहुत हेल्प करते थे सब, और सब लोग जानते भी थे कि आए मेरे डोहीमा ये बच्चे बेचारा कहीं नहीं जो डोहीमा ने, तो मना भी नहीं करते थे, बुढ़ी को भेज देते थे, कोई नहीं बेचारी को क्या करे, वो मांग रही है, हमको शर्म आती है ना कहने में, तो भेज देते हैं. तो हजरत मुफ्ती आशिक इलाही साहब as mentioned this point over here was Sa'idin and wafir riqab, and they spend on freeing slaves, meaning either buying slaves and freeing them like Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq used to do. He used to buy slaves like Bilal Habshi radiallahu anhu and others and free them. When he embraced Islam, he had 40,000 dirhams. And he spent them all on freeing slaves. And he only had 5,000 left at the time of Hijrah. He took that with him and he spent that for Islam even in Medina Sharif. And at the time of death, he had nothing left. Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu, freeing slaves. And وَفِي الرِّقَابِ, then Allah goes on to say, وَأَقَامَ الصَّلَاةِ وَآتَ الزَّكَاةِ. Bir and virtue is of that person who establishes salah and gives zakah. We understand this. Salah is the pillar of Islam, and we have to establish salah. Why Allah said this? Because just helping the poor and the needy and being sahi and generous is not enough for najat. Right? Some people say, I'm very nice, I do this, I give so much charity. But the only thing is I don't pray namaz, I can't pray namaz. But I'll be Jannati. No. Along with being generous, you have to pray your namaz as well. Unless you're not complete. A full human being is when you have everything in you. Your whole body, your limbs, your eyes, your ears, and your ruh. If, let's say, someone is murdered and you find one hand in the river or one leg in the river, or maybe part of the body, torso, or maybe head, then is that a human being? It's not a human being. It's part of a human being. It's only an arm. It's only a leg, right? He was murdered. He was killed. He was hacked. His body was chopped into pieces and he was thrown here and there. So that's not full human being. There's no ghusl and kafan for those body parts. For those body parts which are found like that, you just dig a khadda and just bend his leg over there or the hand over there, because it's not full human being. It doesn't have the whole ahkam of human being. So similarly, to be a complete Muslim, you have to have all these things mentioned in this ayah. Iman and this huquq mentioned over here, and iqam as-salat wa at zakat. Just one thing doesn't make you a full Muslim. It won't get you najat. For najat, you need everything. You understand? This solicitor asked me this question. Maulana Sahib, you have a Muslim who's doing all bad stuff, and you have another non-Muslim who's very kind, he's nice, he's true to his word, he always speaks the truth, he never lies, and he's very generous. But you see that the Muslim will go in Jannah and this non-Muslim will go in Jahannam. I said, hey, look, Jannat, Jahannam does not depend on being generous and kind. First of all, most important is, Allah said, وَلَكِنَّ الْبِرَّ مَنْ آمَنَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَالْمَلَائِكَةِ وَالْكِتَابِ وَالنَّبِيِّينَ. And then وَآتَ الْمَالَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ. And then وَأَقَامَ الصَّلَاةَ وَآتَ الزَّكَاةَ. So you have to do everything to earn Jannah. You can't just do one thing and expect to go in Jannah. So, وَأَقَامَ الصَّلَاةَ وَآتَ الزَّكَاةَ. Give zakat. Calculate your zakat properly and then give it. And وَالْمُوفُونَ بِعَهْدِهِمْ إِذَا عَاهَدُوا. Fulfill your promises when you make them. Your pledges, your mu'ahada, your agreement, your contracts. They should all be in line. There is great importance in fulfilling your pledges and keeping up to your words and your agreements and your contracts. Quran said, وَأَوْفُوا بِالْعَهْدِ إِنَّ الْعَهْدَ كَانَ مَسْئُولًا. يُوفُونَ بِالنَّذْرِ وَيَخَافُونَ يَوْمًا كَانَ شَرُّهُ مُسْتَطِيرًا. And over here, وَالْمُوفُونَ بِعَهْدِهِمْ إِذَا عَاهَدُوا. This is the believer. And regarding munafiq, hypocrites, the opposite is said. إِذَا عَاهَدَ غَدَرَ وَإِذَا خَاصَمَ فَجَرَ. Munafiq has 4 bad habits in him. When he is entrusted with something, he breaks that trust. When he speaks, he lies. When he makes a promise, he deceives, breaks that promise. And when he makes an agreement, a contract, he breaks that contract as soon as he can. These are bad habits. In another riwayat, also added, وَإِذَا خَاصَمَ فَجَرَ. And when he engages in a dispute, then he starts swearing and abusing and shouting and screaming and arguing, and you just can't win with him. Then that person is a hypocrite who has these 5 habits. So, ifai ahad is necessary, and naqzul ahad is a sign of nifaq and hypocrisy. This is what Allah says, وَالْمُوفُونَ بِعَهْدِهِمْ إِذَا عَاهَدُوا. If you make an agreement, keep up that agreement. Don't go back on your word. This word is very important. And you have to keep up with it. And don't promise if you can't. And if you do promise, then fulfill that promise. Those who deceive people have intention of deceiving when they're making that agreement. One hadith sharif says, يُنصَبُ لِكُلِّ غَادِرٍ لِوَاءٌ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. There will be a flag, a banner on every deceiving person on the day of Qiyamah. It will be announced that this banner and flag is of so and so person who used to deceive and trick and cheat people. And the whole Maidani Hashar will know that this person was a dhokebaz, hypocrite, deceiving, lying, cheating, a fraudster. And he will be disgraced, humiliated in front of all the people. In this dunya, he can hide himself. But in Akhirat, in Maidani Hashar, he will not be able to hide himself. Another hadith in Sahih Muslim, Sahih Bukhari says, when a person is responsible for a community, let's say he is a ruler, a king, a president, a chairman, and he deceives the community, Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said he will not smell the fragrance of Jannah. Sahih Bukhari quotes, that person will not even smell the perfume and the fragrance of Jannah, who, after being given the responsibility of seeing to the goodwill and well-being of a community, a nation, does not discharge that responsibility and abuses his position, he will be, no, he will not get the fragrance of Jannah. Another hadith in Sahih Bukhari says, the person who, after having been made a leader of a group, dies without having seen to their goodwill nor addressing their grievances, will have Jannah made forbidden unto him. Jannah will be haram upon him. So this is وَالْمُوفُونَ بِعَهْدِهِمْ إِذَا عَاهَدُوا, who keep up to their words and fulfill their agreements and contracts. And وَالصَّابِرِينَ فِي الْبَأْسَاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ, those who are patient in hardships and adversity and at time of war. Sabirin, sabr, we've talked about it before. Ba'sa is opposite of na'ma. Na'ma is from ni'mat, bliss, happiness, ni'mat. And ba'sa is the opposite. It means faqr, poverty, adversity, hardship, musibat, taklif. Ni'mat ki opposite taklif. So al-ba'sa meaning in taklif, when you're in hardship and you're going through tough times. And wad-dharra, you are sick, unwell, and you are going through some real bad, health conditions or whatever taklif you may be going through, either mental problem, physical problem, family problem, any other problem, but you are doing sabr, you are patient. Everything is from Allah. This is called rida bil qaza. One thing is sabr, but above sabr is rida bil qaza. Sufiya kiram say, ar-rida sukunul qalb ala majari al-aqdar. Being pleased with Allah means your qalb remains sakin when the taqdeer is carried out upon you. Whatever is in taqdeer, you know that this is in taqdeer, this is written for me. Why should I grieve? Why should I cry? Why should I scream? Leave everything to Allah. Whatever Allah destines happens. If Allah wants it this way, then it's this way. If Allah that way, then that way. We have no objection, no hesitation, no reservation on the taqdeer of Allah. कोई इश्काल नहीं, objection नहीं, तकदीर पर कोई हमको एतराज नहीं है. जो भी तकदीर में अल्लाह ने लिखा है हम हैप्पी हो पर. ये है वस्साबिरीन फिल बअसा वद्दर्रा, भूख, तकलीफ, दर्द में, प्यास में, तकलीफ में, और दूसरी तकालीफ में, हार्डशिप में, अन वहीन अल बअस, और मैदान जंग में. मैदान जंग में भी सब्र की जरूरत है. Those who are patient in the battlefield, this is also needed. That you have to be strong in the battlefield. Battlefield में दुश्मन के सामने उसको चाय नहीं पिलाना है, बिरयानी नहीं खिलानी है, बुज़दिल होके भागना नहीं. You can't be a coward. You have to show your grit. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam is in the battle of Uhud, and he gives this sword to Abu Dujana radiyallahu anhu, and he takes that sword and he's stamping his feet on the ground, bam, 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 like soldiers parade and moving towards the enemies. And Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, Allah hates this manner of walk except in this battlefield. In the battlefield, Allah loves this walk because this is the walk of a brave man. At other times, you shouldn't walk like this with stamping your feet on the ground, because it will be a form of pride and takabbur. But over here in front of the enemy, you need to show your grit and you need to show who you are. So this is was-sabirina fil ba'sa'i wad-dharra and wahin al-ba's. Allah said, all these lists which you have heard from beginning till end, أولئك الذين صدقوا وأولئك هم المتقون, who have these sifat are the sadiqeen and they are the muttaqeen. They are the truthful ones. Truthful ones. Allah likes sidq. Sidq and truthfulness should be in everything. Sidq fil maqal, sidq fil af'al, sidq fil ahwal. Sidq in your words, you should be true to your words. Speak the truth, never lie. Sidq in a'mal, In your amal, there is sidq. Your qawl and amal are in confirmation with one another. You don't say one thing and do another thing. Whatever you say, that is what you do. So sidq in amal and sidq in ahwal, hal. Sometimes our zahiri hal, we wear jubba, we have dari, we have pagdi. Our hal shows piety. But in reality, we might be irreligious. We might not be so pious. That's not right. Our hal should be true as well. We should be what we show. We shouldn't show something and be something else. This is hypocrisy. If in public you are a different person and at home in private you are a different person, that's nifaq. Nifaqul amal. So don't have nifaqul amal in you. Be sadiq in your words, in your deeds, in your ahwal, in your condition, in your da'wah, in your claims. If you are an alim, a mufti, if you claim to be a sufi, a buzrug, ahlullah, then in all these ahwal, all these claims, you should be true. If you're not a mufti, don't call yourself a mufti. If you're not an alim, don't call yourself an alim. If you're not a hafiz, don't call yourself a hafiz. If you're not a buzrug, if you're not a khalifa of someone, don't claim to be a khalifa of so and so buzrug. This is all lies. This is cheating. Allah said, Sadiq, sidq is needed in everything. Ulaika alladhina sadaqu. These are, who have these things from above, are the true people, truthful people. And wa ulaika humul muttaqun. They are the muttaqeen, taqwa wale. The aim of Roza was la'allakum tattaqoon. Allah said, if you do these things, then you will be a muttaqi. If you are missing out in these, then you're not a muttaqi. So be a sadiq and be a muttaqi. Allah said, لِيَسْأَلَ الصَّادِقِينَ عَنْ صِدْقِهِمْ. On the day of Qiyamah, the sadiqeen will be asked about their sidq. Malik bin Dinar rahmatullah alayhi used to cry. He used to say, Allahu Akbar, when the sadiqeen will be questioned about their sidq, then what of us kazibeen? We are all liars. May Allah forgive us. May Allah have mercy on us. Allah said at the end of Surah Al-Ma'idah, قال الله هذا يوم ينفع الصادقين صدقهم. On the day of Qiyamah, the truth will benefit the truthful. If you were true in your words, actions, deeds, you will definitely benefit from your truth. So be a truthful person, man of truth, and your truth will benefit you. And if you do these things, then you will be classed as a man of truth. Let me just go over the translation of the verse again, and then we conclude. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Virtue is not in this, that you turn your faces to the east and the west, but virtue is of him who believes in Allah and the last day and the angels and the book and the prophets, and gives of his wealth for love of him, meaning Allah. Due to his love, he gives to the relatives, close relatives, and to the orphans, and to the needy, and to the wayfarer, traveler, and to the beggars. And he gives for redeeming necks, freeing slaves. And virtue is of that person who establishes salah and gives zakah, and is of those who keep their words and promises and agreements when they have made an agreement and a promise, and who is of those who are patient in adversity and in affliction and in times of battle and in the battlefields. These are they who have proved to be true. They are true to their words, and these are they who are God-fearing. So here the verse of Bir, Ayatul Bir, comes to a close. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the next verse starts explanation of these acts of Bir. Allah starts with some huququl ibad, especially haq with regards to nafs, and then haq with regards to mal in wasiyat, and then Allah goes on to some ibadat of kutiba alaykumus siyam, and others will continue inshallah next lesson. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu. Parwardigare alam, محض اپنے فضل و کرم سے ہمارے یہاں اٹھنا بیٹھنا کہنا سننا پڑھنا پڑھانا قبول فرمائیے، قرآن پاک کی فہم اور سمجھ عطا فرمائیے، جو کچھ پڑھا سنا سمجھا اس پر عمل کرنے کی توفیق عطا فرمائیے۔ اللہ ہم سب کو نواز دیجیے، ہم سب کو اپنے محبوب اور مقبول بندوں میں شامل فرمائیے۔ ربنا تقبل منا انک انت السمیع العلیم وتب علینا انک انت التواب الرحیم، صلی اللہم وسلم علی سیدنا محمد وآلہ وصحبہ اجمعین برحمتک یا ارحم الراحمین۔ اللہ